So I know that this scenery is a little weird, but you're gonna have to deal with it. Sorry. I'm going to be taking into account a couple of things: plot, cinematography, music, characters, and fight scenes, which is kind of cinematography, but the fight scenes are very important. Also, if it was a good adaptation. So I'm taking into account those couple of things, and that's how I've kind of based it off of. But of course, my opinions have influenced my decisions in this ranking. So without further ado, let us begin. Number 8! So let's start out with number 8. And we have The Half-Blood Prince. Now, if you're not a Harry Potter fan, you probably don't know this, but collectively, I think we've agreed that Half-Blood Prince is one of the best books, if not the best, out of the Harry Potter series. They do a great job of telling Voldemort's backstory, and it's just fantastic. The description are just amazing, and it's really relieving to get a book that's much shorter than 881 pages after you've just read the monster that is the Order of the Phoenix. I will never forgive JK for making me read that. But besides that, the movie's not very good. Though this movie is supposed to focus on Voldemort, it really doesn't. I mean, Chamber of Secrets, for goodness sake, focuses more on Voldemort than this movie does. We get a couple flashback scenes, and it's just not that great. Now, I personally enjoy this movie for ironic reasons. I mean, how can you not look at these scenes and just burst out laughing? Because, I mean, look at them.
Open up, you. Don't you trust me?
It's good.
Shoelace. Merry Christmas, Harry.
7.
Film.
At number 7, we have what I would have ranked number 8 if this was just solely based off of my opinion, but this is not. So it's here, and that is The Deathly Hallows Part 1. This movie is a big fat piece of garbage. I don't know why anyone likes it, and if you do, you're probably lying to yourself. You probably are just like,
well, it's not as bad as Half-Blood Prince, and it's not as bad as Goblet of Fire, so I'm okay with it.
Even though it's a really bad story. 6! At number 6, we have, drumroll please, that was not good. Deathly Hallows Part 2. Like I said, I really don't like this movie. It's not that good. It's just because I feel like you'd think that since the first one was super boring, the second one wouldn't be boring, but somehow they made this one boring too. Like, how did you do that? They really did not know what the heck they were doing. I mean, you remember some things, but it's just so hard to differentiate between what's part 1 and what's part 2. And this one just kind of becomes an afterthought, even though part 1's worse, but like, whatever. If I was basing this solely off my opinion, this would have been an eensy bit higher, but not by a long shot. Anyways, it just is kind of boring and unforgettable. It's not a great finale in my opinion.
Shouldn't we wait? Begin.
5 golden rings. At number 5, we have, drumroll please, we're not doing that again. Goblet of Fire. Okay, Goblet of Fire is not that great, but I appreciate it for some reasons. In Half-Blood Prince, the actual book, it's not focusing on romance. Whereas Goblet of Fire, the movie, focuses a lot on romance, and it's about romance. The thing is, if this was based solely off my opinion, I probably would have ranked these movies like right next to each other because I kind of feel the same way about them. Half-Blood Prince I enjoy more, but adaptation-wise it's still bad, like I said. Anyways, Goblet of Fire is a better adaptation, but it's less enjoyable. It's more boring, they focus heavily on romance, and instead of, Half-Blood Prince where they kind of have like a little bit of like Voldemort's backstory and like something interesting, in this one they just have, mermaids and Moaning Myrtle's here again, and this guy.
Cut.
Before we get to number 4, I want to just make it clear that all of the movies after this I genuinely enjoy. 4 through 1 I really like, and I really like watching, and I really think are great movies. So if it's not number 1, please don't get upset. So at number 4 we have the movie that started it all, Sorcerer's Stone. Sorcerer's Stone is a good movie, yes, but it isn't the best movie. Sure, it has a bunch of nostalgia for all them 2000 kids. Sure, it's got the best Dumbledore ever. I mean, come on. We've got ourselves a great Hagrid, the perfect Hermione, the roles, the casting, even McGonagall, who's not canonically like 50, 100 years old. It makes sense that she's super old in this series. It just makes a lot more sense than her being a 30-year-old woman. Sorry, that's just my opinion. The music itself is pretty good, even though John Williams literally steals music from everyone. It's a very good introduction to the series, but it's definitely not the best movie in the series, and I think everyone can agree upon that.
1, 2, 3, go.
Now, at number 3, we have Chamber of Secrets. Now, I'm going to say something. I'm kind of biased on this. I'm kind of biased on all of us, but Chamber of Secrets is one of my favorite books, and it's because it was the only book that I read where the ending wasn't spoiled. But Chamber of Secrets was the first twist that I could actually appreciate and actually take in and actually be like, hey, that's cool. And the movie was just so satisfying. The plot made sense. It wasn't as boring. It had some stakes. It was good. It was, and it still is, and that's why it's number 3 on my ranking. Though it could do better cinematography-wise and music-wise, because it's basically just a copy of the first movie when it comes to music, it's still overall a very good adaptation of the second book, and I love Chris Columbus for that.
Voldemort is my past, present, and future. You.
Now, the last 2 movies are Order of the Phoenix and Prisoner of Azkaban, and it's very hard to decide which one is first and which one is second, but first place goes to, now we need a drum roll, Prisoner of Azkaban. Prisoner of Azkaban just has so much going for it. The plot is fantastic, it's dark, it's cool, and you get introduction to 2 new amazing characters. The cinematography is amazing, especially from a filmmaking standpoint. Like, literally ask anyone who studied filmography? Wow, Sophia. Wow. Who studied film, and they will tell you that this movie is cinema at its finest based off of the look. It's also got some issues as well. The music is so good that I literally have a couple songs on my Spotify playlist.
It's that good.
The Patronus scene is literally like something that came down from heaven, and I think gives everyone a purpose to live. So yeah, Now let's talk about why the 5th movie, aka Order of the Phoenix, does not get first place in my opinion. The first time I watched it, I like it. The second time I watched it, I liked it. The third time I watched it, I liked it. The fourth time I watched it, I liked it. The 5th time I watched it, I didn't like it anymore. Because the plot itself is just not that creative and not that amazing. Sorry. It's still 10 times better than the execution of the plot in Half-Blood Prince, but it still doesn't beat Prisoner of Azkaban, especially cinematography-wise. Everyone loves to be like, oh my gosh, the cinematography is like so good in this movie. Compare that to Prisoner of Azkaban and then try and tell me that. Try and tell me that it's better. Try.
I dare you.
The thing is, you can't because it's not. It's a lie. And, I mean, I'll compare two. See? Let me show you. 2 on the screen. Which one looks better? Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban. The music is not as good. The plot is not as good. The characters are pretty good. I mean, we get an introduction to Luna Lovegood, but, like, we get an introduction to Remus Lupin and Sirius Black in Prisoner of Azkaban. So try and tell me that those 2 characters are better combined than Luna Lovegood. I love you, Luna, but you're just not as good as them. I'm sorry. Together, if it was just one of them, it'd be kind of equal. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you like and subscribe. Comment down below what you'd like to see next. If this gets at least like 10 views, I mean, let's be honest, even if this gets like 0 views, I'm definitely going to be doing a ranking of the Star Wars movies, but I can't like just go off the top of my head like I am right now. I don't have a script, I don't have anything. I'm just speaking my mind straight out to you because I watch these movies so frequently and I've seen them so recently that I don't really need to watch them within a day and rank them that very same day, you know? Whereas Star Wars, I haven't seen the new movies since they came out in theaters, and I haven't seen the original trilogy in like 6 years, and I recently watched the prequels. So that's not enough to go off of, so I will need to watch the movies. So don't worry, if you're hungry for a Star Wars review, I will do that. Do not worry. I'm here to save you. But anyways, I'm critic number 1, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!